Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. 3 years ago, Margaret McCarran was hit by a police officer driving a police vehicle and was taken to hospital in Motherwell. She sadly died as a result of extensive injuries incurred as a result of that particular crash. Now, the policeman concerned has been disciplined by the force. The family of Margaret McCarran fought for years to find out the cause, what happened, the full story on it, and now are taking the Police Scotland, to court. They're bringing a prosecution against the police. It's legal action, and they're pursuing this against the force, and they're saying that the force caused her death through lack of training or discipline or whatever their argument's going to be about. The Court of Session in Edinburgh had to give permission for this contest because it's very difficult to actually prosecute the police, apparently. But it has been granted, and the case has begun. And it's a statement from the family reads: "Every day we have mourned the loss of our mum. However, we continue to try and keep her memory alive by living with the kindness, warmth, and positivity she shared with those around her. There have been aspects to the incident which for us remain unclear, and so we hope a civil action will help deliver the answers so that we may finally be able to process everything, heal, and move forwards." Now, the police don't want to answer anything now because obviously it's an ongoing legal case and they don't like to talk about it, and fine. But it's one of the very rarest occasions when a police force is prosecuted. It's very, very difficult, and it takes special action from the courts to allow this. Normally, the police are not above the law so much, but they are deemed to be protected with a certain level that's not afforded to individuals or other organisations. It's done so in order that they can do their job. For the police to actually be subjected to a court case, as I say, is incredibly rare, but it has in this case been allowed. It is a civil action, so nobody will go to prison or anything, but it will allow for all the events of that day to come forward, and there will likely be some kind of monetary disposal of blame, should we say. The family will be in for a payday of whatever size it will be. Now, I have thought about this, and in and of itself, this is just really quite a small story. It's a desperately sad story for the family, of course, but it's not a big thing in and of itself. But the principle of suing the police, of taking the police to court, is massive. Because if they do win, and I really do hope they do, it would mean that the police become liable and accountable in a way that they aren't normally liable and accountable. And I think going forward, this must lead to better policing, because the police will be aware that if they get it wrong, they'll end up in court and they'll be forced to face the consequences of what they do. And I think that is what we must look for here. Now, obviously, it's a very sad thing for the woman, and I'm sure that the police officer involved did not set out that day to do what happened. It was no deliberate thing. And yes, whatever's happened to him, he probably deserves. But, that's as far as it goes. But if it makes it safer for the future, if it means more responsible policing in the future, then something wonderful and good will come from it. So here's to the family. I hope they do win their case, and I do hope they get their answers. Thank you very much.